Welcome to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere with your host, Chris Parker.
And welcome back to Everyday Entrepreneurs Everywhere. This is Chris Parker. And if you've been listening during the month of November, I've been talking about Movember. And Movember is the world's largest charity for men's health. And originally it started, back in the day with really a focus on prostate cancer. However, now it's really expanded into mental health as well. So my request to everyone when they're listening is to call someone, male or female, during this crazy time when, during the pandemic, and just check in and see how they're doing and tell them you're there and that you're caring about them. And I think that could make the world of difference for anyone. And if you're watching on the video, you're seeing that my mustache is coming in. It's coming in more and more full every time because, of course, during Movember, for the men, the Mo Bros, you shave your face just before November, and then you let your mustache grow in, and that's what the Mo is all about. So Linda Jacobsen, who's joined me, was asking me what is going on with that mustache, because when we first started recording, I think that was a bit of a shock. So there we go. That's Movember, Linda. Now, Linda and I have worked on a film project, which has been released and has won an award, at least one. I'm curious if there's more coming up. I know there's a lot of more festivals coming up, but I'll let Linda talk all about that project because it really is, a project of hers and about hers, and has had an amazing team wrapped around it to help her make that, bring that to reality. So Linda Jacobsen, can you please welcome, and can you please share with us, Linda, what is it that you do and why do you do what you do?
Thank you for having me. What do I do? I create, I mainly act in film mostly. I also write, which I'm going to talk about. And I do that because I love to tell stories, and I love to move people with stories and make them think. Because there's so many stories to tell and so many people to touch, really, basically. So the writing, let me just hop on that train, the project that we've been doing together. Silence Undone is a film that I wrote, short film, and that I starred in. It's an artistic film, I'd say. And it's about things that I have been going through in my childhood,
It's definitely about your childhood, and I think before we get into maybe the film project itself, what inspired you to write a story and share a story about your childhood in such a profound and public way? There's a deeper motivation here as opposed to simply artistic creativity.
Yes, definitely. And also that one goes two-sided. I really felt isolated from the world, and I had really trouble with trusting people and letting people get close to me. And I was so frustrated at a point because I could see that I could stand in the world, be happy and surrounded by people, connected to people, but I didn't do it. but I knew that I could and I wanted it. So I was so fed up with choosing not to connect and staying in my own bubble, being fearful, that I decided, that I had to change, because I had the choice to either stay in that very frustrating and lonely and painful place, knowing what I could what life I could have, or take action, work on the issues that I had, and show myself to the people around me, to the world. And I knew that the problem that I was having, a lot of other people were facing as well. So I was doing it for myself to be seen and to get out there. But also I wanted my story to be an inspiration to those who were also at that point, or getting to that point. Like, I want to share my story, and I need to share my story in whatever way. I'm not doing it now, but I need some courage or some inspiration to get that ball rolling, and for me to make that choice as well.
Yeah, well, you certainly found the courage, and then also decided to tell your story and make that change and I think in a significant way, because producing a film, in this case a short film, 16 minutes, 16 to 17 minutes, really telling the story is, I guess other people would have maybe sat down and talked to a friend and shared a story, but this is like really telling a story. So how did that come about? So you were having this angst from the past, and this became the vehicle for you to share. How did that happen?
You mean like, how did I choose this medium instead of just? Well, I had been acting for a bit of time, and it's really how the inspiration also came to me, the images that I received, and it felt it needed to be film, because in film you can say so much. I mean, it's visuals, it's auditive, it's music, and there's a storyline that characters, they go from A to B, it was just really clear that it had to be film, also because I really love making films, but also to tell, because I also write music, but it wouldn't feel, because the story and the message that we wanted to portray, that I wanted to portray, it was too big to put in a song, and it needed more, and it was worth more than 4 minutes of music. I mean, music can be great and it can do a lot as well, but it wouldn't do justice to the message and the story, I think.
And the message and the story have landed, and I've looked at silenceundone.com, and then there's a button on testimonials, and I think you can read any of these things and go, okay, this has inspired, confronted, comforted. One quote: beautifully filmed, recognizable. Seeing the film has brought me a greater sense of connection with other survivors. Thanks to this film, I feel less alone in my process. Written by Ellen. And Silence Undone mostly brings me a lot of recognition, the fear of what others will think of you if you tell them, the shame and the feeling of being worthless. So, wow. So not only was this, I think in a lot of ways for you, but it's also a gift, if you will, or a message for others. How do you feel when you read and you hear this feedback? What goes on inside you?
That is really the best feedback we can get from people, and this was my goal as well, to have these kind of reactions that really people got touched and moved and found something in themselves to get hope or courage, and to get back from something, or to proud I also feel of myself for having had the idea and the courage and the perseverance, and of course I did it with an incredible team, like you said, and I'm really grateful for them as well, but I also really feel proud that something that I started and felt really necessary to do also really landed the way I really wanted it to intend to land.
Well, it certainly has landed, and I think it was back in when was the campus party event? That was April or something, and you were able to share your story and also screen the film as a private screening to like 30 countries, streaming. And then we, so it was on there for a bit, and we had to take it down because of it's not fully released yet. So the message is really getting out there. It has also been in a number of, at least one festival, I think maybe one or two, and in one of the first festivals, it actually won, best picture lady first film or something. It was it's at the ladies.
It was the Lady Film Festival.
Yeah.
And it was the best first film in the short film category. So it's best ladies first film short category. So you're getting it's landing there as well. How does that feel? I mean, that's a different really type of recognition. Yeah. Really cool. Cool.
When did you hear that you won the award, or the team won the award? Was there like some sort of virtual ceremony or something, or how did that happen?
There was, I think, for winning actors, there was a kind of ceremony, but there was not, because everything was on the internet and in Zoom, and there was not, or else I have missed it, but a ceremony for all the winners, because I mean there were so many films and also so many prizes or awards. But they got posted on the Instagram, for example. So I remember me checking, is our film between?
Yeah, nice. Well, I really wish for you and the team that well, for everyone, that this Corona thing wasn't happening, because releasing the film during this time, on one hand, it is really meaningful because mental health and abuse issues are certainly on the rise during while we're on lockdown, but it doesn't make it easy or even possible really to commercialize in a traditional way. So what's your feeling about how this happened during Corona? Because there was a question of whether we should even do the crowdfunding, because things had been shot, but we had a plan to do the crowdfunding in order to do the post-production and do the distribution. Originally the decision was to not do that, but then I think because it was such an important message during this time, what was your perspective on that whole discussion, and why was the decision made to move forward with the project during the Corona crisis?
Yeah, we definitely discussed it, whether we should, because people have insecurities now and other things to worry about. But when we got notion of that the domestic abuse and child abuse numbers were really increasing, because children weren't going to school, so all day at home, and we really felt like we should really continue now, and also to make people aware that this is happening now as well. I mean, it's unfortunately happening always, but there's so much more pressure in this time and so much more stress. So we really wanted to let people know that as well, and not put this problem aside for Corona, because this problem is still a very, very big problem.
And looking forward to the near future, on the 18th of November here in the Netherlands, you're going to be doing another presentation or a talk, and also screening the film. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and why? And I feel I know this question, but for everyone else, you're also making yourself available to give talks and presentations and to share the message around the film. What's the I guess the mission there that people could see on the 18th of November?
Yeah, so first let me tell you, the 18th of November, it's in the week of against child abuse. Wait, I'm seeing myself now. That's not, I want to see you. Yes. So it's the week against child abuse. And in it, originally we had planned to do our premiere for the film, and to make an event out of it with also speakers for the subject, but also to celebrate our film. But now we decided to, like you said, not pursue on the premiere. But the subject is still important, and we still wanted to do something in this week to contribute to the awareness. So Wednesday 18th at 7:30 p.m. On our socials, we are going live. We're going to stream the film, and then after that, I'm going to talk with Marianne Kimmel about the issue. People can ask questions that we'll answer. Marianne Kimmel, she is the chairman of Stichting Project Speak Now, whom I've been working with also in the crowdfunding, but also like tonight before our interview, we had a live session in their community to really help people with the issues that they face now. And that's also, again, showing the film in this week, or it is this week, to bring people awareness, and for the people who are aware and who have troubles, we want to contribute into things that we have learned or been able to experience and pass that on.
And you're available to do speaking and presentations to communities and foundations or companies on topics related to child abuse and child abuse recovery. How does that fit in? You know, let's loop back to you as an entrepreneur, as an actress, also a stunt actress earlier in your career, and now presenter, you know, on important topics. How does that fit in your portfolio of entrepreneurial activities?
I haven't looked at it that way, how it fit in my entrepreneurial portfolio. But I do feel in the portfolio of contribution, or really to open up conversations when the topic gets tough, or when there's shame on a topic, or when it's difficult to talk about something. And so I really see it, like, for example, we're in conversation with a Dutch prison to go there as well and show the film, and then to have a conversation, really to open up, because that was my problem, that I didn't open up, and I know firsthand the damage it can do not to open up. So really just to open up, then feel relief, feel, hey, you're not that bad, or hey, I'm not that alone, or whatever is in your head. I think it's just really important to share, and either I do it through film or through having conversations. I think that's the essence of.
Well, I use the word entrepreneur in the very broadest sense, meaning someone changing or impacting the world. It could also be someone sustaining their lifestyle based on their work. So I take a very, very broad definition now. If you can imagine someone who was abused as a child and hasn't shared this with anyone and is holding this inside and suffering from that, what are 3 things that someone could do? So if they're listening to this right now, and or imagine after they watch the movie on the 18th of November, or when it's online more publicly after that at some point, what are 3 things that people, or whatever it is that people could do to move forward?
You mean as an adult?
Yeah. Or young adult.
Young adult. There's many things you can do, but the first thing I think is check in with yourself and feel where you stand as to, do you feel ready to open up to anyone? And I would think that is the most important thing, or one of the most important steps, is to actually open up and talk about it or share it with someone, so that you don't have to carry that load alone. Many ways. I mean, do you have a friend that you trust, or a professional, or?
Yeah, I was going to ask if they have, if they don't have someone in their immediate vicinity who they trust that way. Who could they call? You mentioned Speak Now. Is that in the Netherlands? Is that a place where people could go and in a very trusting, safe environment share their experience?
Yes, definitely. They have a Facebook community. They also have a website, projectspeaknow.nl. Their Stichting Project Speak Now, and in their Facebook group you can share your story. People in the group always are supportive. They hold a live session every week, and discussing different topics, trusting, trying to trust again, or isolation, or like I said, I just came out of a session and we talked about Corona, how that impacts you when you're still dealing with your trauma. So they're very kind people, very supportive. So I would definitely suggest to go there. Other than that, there of course are other support groups or websites with forums, but I don't have experience on their websites, so I cannot firsthand give a review, or but I know of these people, their community. They have a closed Facebook community. It's called Community SPN. PSN, and they have an open community, and I would say check that out and reach out so they can help you along.
I'll put the Speak Now project links into the show notes. So that would be at ebullient.com/podcast/Linda Jacobsen, and you can also find that on the silenceundone.com, and there's a links button on the menu that has that and other resources as well. Is there any reason why someone shouldn't talk about it, or is it a when and not an if type thing? Because I can imagine it would be torture to keep that kind of devastating secret locked up for a whole lifetime. Is there?
It's definitely torture.
Yeah.
And everyone has to feel for themselves. And some people maybe are not in the right circumstances or in the right circles to where they actually feel like they can open up, or if I'd say if you feel so much resistance to do it, maybe not do it now, or try to find another way. So I can't really say for anyone, but the only thing that I have noticed is that when I started to open up, my life changed for the better.
Yeah, and let's come back to that. Let's come back to the film project and maybe a little bit your life around that. So you are the author of the script, also the subject, and also the lead actress, and you built a team of incredible people to help manifest this and create this. Can you give us just a few bits on how that journey went? So you wrote the script, and then over time, this team assembled and made this incredible piece of work. How did all that go? Also for you, yeah.
It was really a process for me personally as well. Like I said before, I had really trouble trusting people, and I found it really scary to approach people also with this personal thing. So really bit by bit, I worked with Magdalena, and from there we got to Christian, the director, and really bit by bit the team grew, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let the cat in because I think he needs to.
Okay.
I heard him cry already.
I think you were on the crew at that point or something.
Yeah, so the crew grew bit by bit, and it was really great that we found such lovely people and such loving people also on the set, and everyone had such respect for the story and for each other, and they wanted, as artists as well, create the best film that they could. And we've had long days for production, and I had an amazing time. As an actor, I was in my own bubble, and everyone protected me really well from the stress that the crew was facing, so that I could really focus on the story. And so I'm really grateful for that. But it was great also to be on set and be surrounded by all the people that really worked so hard and with all their energy and love to make this a beautiful project. And it felt really warm. More technically, it was interesting that first, of course, I was the writer and really working closely with Christian as a writer, and the characters and the story and the script. And at a certain point, I had to let that go to get in the role of the actor. So there was an interesting switch as well, but it worked really well. I think Christian and I had a very open communication. So and with all the support and everybody generally knowing what they're doing, and felt really I was really able to focus on the acting as well.
And there was a few things that were really in the script, like the I can't remember his name, but the octopus character, Mr.
Ship.
Yeah, and and also the flashback with the very sort of abstract flashback, walking through the memories type of things. These were, definitely coming from you. So I'm curious when, on those really artistic decisions, were those something that were just really from you, or did that evolve with the team, or how did that sort of dimension of the story happen?
I think a lot of the elements, it's really different per scene as well, because in some scenes most scenes I had a really clear vision of what I wanted to say, and but there was room, especially with Christian, where we were like puzzling sometimes, and how can we make this more effective. But that's mainly the script side of the story. So that was clear, and then Christian took a lot of, or he had great ideas. For example, the hall or the maze. Mm-hmm. I had no idea about how to make an interesting maze. How that would look like. But I knew the essence, story-wise and emotion-wise, what I wanted to portray. So in that case, we really worked together to make that really, as it is now.
Yeah, it's there's such some creativity in it, and it tells the story. So again, it's a 16-minute long short. It's in the Dutch language, everyone, but there is subtitles. So when you get to watch it online, there'll be subtitles that are very, very easy to follow. On the 18th of November, again in the Netherlands, so that's Central European time. If you follow Silence Undone online on the Facebook page or Instagram, then you'll see the announcements about that and know where to find it. So I'm starting to head towards wrapping up, and so I'm curious, as we've gone through this, if you have any questions for me, because I've been firing at you the whole time.
Well, when are you going to shave the mustache?
When am I going to shave the mustache? Do you think I should shave the mustache?
Well,
yeah, it's the mustache is not my favorite. The question is different opinions. My wife appreciates me, I think, with more the beard, because that's how she knows me. Christian, who does the editing for this, also the director for your film, he believes I'm more beautiful, the more beautiful Chris without any facial hair. Magda, who I spoke to earlier today, was also shocked by the mustache, and she seemed to think I could wear it well. Sort of, not quite, of course, not quite Tom Selleck, but it's all right. So no, but I'll be wearing it until the end of November at least as a mustache, and then either I'll shave it off or let it grow out. And bringing up the mustache, I want to come back to Movember, and also maybe a connection to the Silence Undone project, because this is, in a way, mental health is very closely related to abuse, child abuse, and the consequence of that. So I would really invite everyone to call someone, reach out and be there. And if someone needs to talk, and if they want to talk to you about something this important, then give them that respect and that care and lack of judgment, and just be there with them and for them. And that, I think that, those kind of small actions, being there for each other, will help us all get through this crazy pandemic together. So I would like to wrap up with a last quote. But before I do that, you can find Linda at ljacobsen.nl, and that will be in the show notes as well. She's also on LinkedIn and silenceundone.com, and also on Instagram and Facebook at least. And so keep an eye out for the premiere, or what was going to be the actual premiere in the 18th of November, and it'll be online and available much, much more publicly as it goes through the festival cycle and things like that. So you can also sign up for the newsletter there on Silence Undone, so to keep up to date on latest developments. So and you can also go to silenceundone.com and look at the testimonials. And the last one I'll read before we wrap up. It brought me hope, a powerful and hopeful film. The battle is painfully recognizable. It makes my desire to share even greater, now seeming to eliminate the fear. Watching Silence Undone gives me hope that sharing can bring you something, understanding, warmth, and being worthy to be cared about. You are making an impact with your work, Linda. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. And it's really been a pleasure, not only on this, but also, contributing in a small way to the Silence Undone film project. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Learn more at ebillion.com/podcast.